My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. Hey y'all, so I have not shopped my stash in a long time. It's been quite a long time, and I referenced it in a couple of videos this past month. I think maybe in my check-in, and definitely in that video that was like my pre-check-in check-in where I did a get ready with me and talked about why my check-in wasn't going up. By the way, a helicopter is circling downtown, which is very rare here. It used to happen all the time at my old apartment, but it doesn't happen very often here. I hope it's not too loud. Anyway, the reason that it's taken me almost a month longer than it usually does to return to my Shop My Stash series and report back about the things for which I shopped my stash before and pick out new things is that I just found myself not reaching for the things for which I shopped my stash before very frequently. And it was partly because the past month or two have been very chaotic, and it was also because I had a surprising influx of things, especially eyeshadow palettes. I had shopped my stash for an eyeshadow palette like I almost always do, and then Lauren decluttered her eyeshadow palettes and gave me a whole stack of them, so I got sidetracked. Even though I didn't get as much use out of this as I usually do out of my Shop My Stash eyeshadows, it's been long enough, and I definitely do have the reports that I want to make on the lip products for which I shopped my stash before. So we're doing it. I picked out some new things. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. So first things first, the things for which I shopped my stash last time. It was the Natasha Denona Star Palette and then 3 lippies, 2 of which I shopped for, or maybe all 3 of which I shopped for, because I was trying to decide if I wanted to keep them. I think that's right. I think that that was the deal with all 3 of them. And I'm going to start with the eyeshadow palette. So again, I didn't get as much use out of it as I wanted to, and I feel like my use of it was confined to the reasons for which I chose it for my shop my stash. So I chose it because I really wanted something that had these kind of red blushy shadows in it. At that time, about 2 months ago when I was choosing these products, I really was into these almost cherry red blushy looks, kind of like a blue red blushy situation. And so I picked it pretty much for these 2 because really at that time I didn't have very many eyeshadows in that color story, in that color category, in that color family. I feel like I can't talk today, except that the way that my not being able to talk is manifesting is that I'm like a spitting thesaurus. Like instead of saying one word, I say like all the words that mean that word. I don't know what's wrong with me. That was why I picked it, really for those 2. And then I also knew that because it has these gorgeous neutrals, both in the warm family and in the cool family, that I would be able to use it for pretty much anything. And that's true. And if I had reached for it like every day for the past 2 months, I think I would have been satisfied. I've always felt that way about this palette, and I still continue to feel that way. You can do so much with it. It's incredibly versatile and incredibly rich at the same time. So I did do a few looks with these 2 eyeshadows, and I'm starting to lean into the fact that they're a little bit watercolory and not so dense and pigmented the way that we kind of expect eyeshadows to be these days. I think that that's intentional. I think that she kind of included them as blushy shades, not just the colors of blushy color. Not just that they're blush colored, but that they kind of have a blushy quality. And I like that. I think it works really well, and it definitely works for the purposes that I intended when I shopped my stash for this eyeshadow palette. And then the other thing I did was I used those neutral shades. So it was times when I wanted a quick look, when I didn't know what to reach for, when I wasn't really messing around, that I wanted something kind of neutral and a little bit summery and easy. I used this peachy shadow down here an awful lot. I used these neutral mattes. I used this kind of orangey copper quite a lot. And I used this one. This is one of my favorite eyeshadows in this palette, this bronzy one right here in the middle. That's probably my most used shadow in this palette, and I frequently travel with that as kind of a go-to all over the lid look shadow. So I wouldn't say that I particularly dug into this palette and let it lead me, but I definitely got good, consistent use out of it and kind of confirmed my feeling that I'm very glad that I have it in my collection. I'm very, very lucky to have received it as a gift, and I think it's a good one. I find that Natasha Denona's creamy metallics are just so good and grippy on my lids. They're really, really good for creating a semi-bulletproof eye look, especially on watery eye days. Her mattes can be a little bit trickier to work with. I find that I have to place them exactly where I want them and then gently buff out the edge of the shape that I've made with them, as opposed to dipping a big fluffy brush into them and washing them all over the lid and just hoping that that technique diffuses them into the proper place. They never really work out for me when I try to do that, but they do work beautifully for me when I go at it a bit more like a paint by number, like a bit more intentional, a bit more careful, and a bit more delicate, kind of like small brush work instead of large fluffy brush work. And that is actually what I've been tending more towards recently when it comes to eyeshadow looks. If you saw my brush declutter, you would have seen me declutter a couple of brushes that I had been using for my eyes for a long time. I used them back in the day a lot to lay down color on my lids. Big fluffy brushes that almost look like they were maybe designed for highlighter, and I think that they may have been designed for highlighter, but I was using them on my lids, and I actually decluttered them. I moved them over into my face brush category, and then I decluttered them from my face brush category because I feel like my eyeshadow technique has evolved past that and in the direction of using smaller, more targeted brushes for more precise control. I feel like I've been getting really, really close to the camera as I sometimes do. I'm trying to stay sitting back here and just have a little bit more of me in frame instead of being like
tiny, tiny brushes, you guys.
Okay, so let's talk about the three lippies. They are this ColourPop lipstick in the color Dream Easy. It's one of the Luxe lipsticks, and it's kind of a brilliant pinky watermelony coral. This is another ColourPop Lippy Sticks in the color Who Run This, and it's basically a terracotta. It's like a rich, rich terracotta. And then the third one, oh goodness, it's broken. The third one was a limited edition Lancome lipstick, and I, in pretty short order after having shopped my stash for it, decided that I didn't want it and I gave it away to a friend. So I don't have that one on me anymore. It was basically just kind of a balmy, light beige color. It just didn't do anything for me. In theory, I'm really into lipsticks that are nude on me, but because it was semi-sheer and because the formula was extremely thin and balmy and almost slippery, it wasn't like a grippy, waxy balm, it was like a slippery, almost oily, balmy lipstick. I just felt like when I put it on, half an hour later, it was completely gone, and it certainly wouldn't last through any eating or drinking or very much talking, which I do quite a lot of. So it was a no-go for me. It wasn't good enough to stay in my collection. It was interesting with these two. This one in particular, the Lippy Sticks and Who Run This, and it's actually going to be more interesting even than it has been because it's now broken. There are some things that I don't like about this. I don't particularly love the packaging. The formula can be a little bit drying. It's super pigmented, which is gorgeous, and it gives a gorgeous effect on the lips, but that also means that it can be a little bit difficult to control the pigment because it's quite deep and it's a little bit slippery. I mean, it's quite slippery actually when you first apply it. Unlike the Lancome one, it's slippery but intensely pigmented. So when it starts to slide, it kind of gets everywhere and it shows, but it does stain. I mean, it doesn't stain the lips, but it does stick to the lips. The color stays for a really, really long time, which I love in a lipstick. I like something that I can put on and then I just feel like it's gonna stay and stay and stay no matter what I've eaten or had to drink and no matter how much I've talked. And this is that. This is a real sticker. This is a real sticky, but it's not sticky. This is a very tenacious product. However, it's messy. It's even messier now that it's broken. It's gotten twisted around in its thing and the internal mechanism has broken, so it won't scroll. Oh, okay, so it will scroll up, but it won't scroll back down again. Great job, Hannah. I just scrolled it up and now it's stuck up. Okay, so I was able to push it all the way back in, but now it's just gonna be annoying. I get a bit testy and kind of babyish when the products that I love certain qualities of are like messy and broken. However, and this is however to all the things that I just said about this, the color is so good and totally unique to my collection. It's a rich, terracotta. It probably would have to be described as having some brown in it, although on me, on my coloring, it doesn't really read as a brown. It really reads as a terracotta red. It reads as a really, really special and sophisticated red. And I can't part with it because I have found myself, especially since it's been out on my vanity as part of my Shop My Stash, I found myself wearing it a lot over the past 2 months and completing looks with it, especially those blushy cherry red eyeshadow looks. With this, it's so, so good. I really, really love that combination. So I'm going to keep its slippery, pigmented, broken, disappointing little self. And I think that I might be able to officially announce that I'm kind of on the hunt for a color dupe for this product. So if any of you out there knows of one, I would love to have Who Run This from ColourPop, this exact color, in a more high-end formula, if I'm totally honest, but I want it to be matte. I really love this color in a matte formula. So if any of you has a lead, let me know. For the time being, it's staying. ColourPop Dream Easy, I pretty much forgot was part of my Shop My Stash project. But I don't feel like I'm ready to part with it. I think I wore it enough times towards the beginning to remember how good it looks on camera and how fun it can be. I think that when I did my lipstick declutter, I ended up decluttering a bunch of other lipsticks that were similar to this one in color, and I kind of kept this as the one that's the most spot on. And I'd like it to continue to stay in my collection and occupy that category. So I'm hoping that I will get some more use out of it as the summer wears on, because I think it's a really summery color. So those are all the products for which I shopped my stash last time. It was just the eyeshadow palette and the 3 lipsticks. Now let's move on. I will tell you about the things for which I shopped my stash today. And I decided to add a little twist to Shop My Stash this time around. There are a number of makeup products that I have been toying with the idea of buying, but because I'm on a strict budget and I only have so much money to spend, I'm torn about them. All of them feel like a little bit too much money, a little bit too big of a chunk out of my budget, and I just can't bring myself to bite the bullet right now. This isn't to say that I won't buy them at some point in the next couple of months, but right now there are just a few particular specific things for which I am lusting, but for which I can't bring myself to shell out those coins. So I decided to shop my stash for products that I already own that are in the same category as the products that I've been thinking about buying. And the reason for this is twofold. One, obviously, is to sort of soothe my desire for the things that I want. I can get the same effect in many cases with what I have. I'm not boxed out of creating certain makeup looks or having a certain aesthetic experience or tactile experience of applying product just because I haven't bought the things that are on my wish list. I already have things in many cases that serve similar purposes or serve the same purpose. So using those things helps to take the sting out of the fact that I don't have the other things, and it helps to kind of soothe and dampen a little bit my desire to run right out and buy them. And then the other reason that I'm doing this, that I'm duping the vibes of the things that I want to buy but that I'm not buying, is to use the things that I have instead of buying other things, to get good use out of them. We have this compulsion, I think, when we really love a thing, to want to buy more of it. And I still do that. Even after my no-buy year, even with my budget, I still have that. I notice myself having that compulsion. And I'll talk about it a little bit when I'm talking about these products. I have a thing that I really love, and I love it so much that I want to buy another one just like it. What is that? What is that? I'm trying to take my attention and shift it away from the desire to keep collecting more and more and onto the thing that I already have and the love and appreciation that I have already for the thing that I have already. I want to do that instead of loving the thing so much that I buy a new thing just like it and essentially replace it. Because what service is that doing to the thing that I love? That's the opposite of cherishing it. That's the opposite of appreciation for it. The first type of product or category of product that I have been longing to buy, that I've kind of been making myself crazy trying to decide whether or not I want to buy, is cream blush. I just want cream blush. It's getting warm, everyone's using it, everyone's talking about it. I just found this amazing YouTuber called Amanda Z Do you guys follow Amanda Z? I will leave her linked down below. She's currently doing a week of cream blushes on her channel where she's reviewing a bunch of incredible products. I'm just craving cream blush. And around this time last year, I was really into cream blush as well. But at that time, I had 3 cream blushes. However, since then, 2 out of the 3 cream blushes that I owned at this time last year during my no-buy year have gone bad. They were my 2 Kjaer Weis blushes, and I still have the compacts. I'll show them to you. So I kind of cleaned them up and I've been keeping them in my vanity. They are the empty compacts for Desired Glow, which is an almost bronzy, kind of ruddy cream blush color, and Precious, which is a very pale, almost pastel apricot color that reads as a gorgeous nude on me. I almost feel like it's the cream version of Clinique's Nude Pop, which is a blush that's been on my wish list for a really long time. I love these cream blushes, and in fact, I had already repurchased Desired Glow. So these compacts are designed so that you can replace the pan inside. They're a luxury clean beauty product. They're very expensive. I think that when you buy the compact with the product inside the first time, it's over $50. It might even be like $56, incredibly expensive. But then when you use up the pan, it's magnetized in there and there's a little hole in the bottom. You can pop out the pan and recycle the metal insert. I've learned recently that unfortunately these metal packages aren't recyclable, but I believe that the metal insert inside, it's just like thin metal, like an eyeshadow pan. I believe that those are recyclable. At least I recycled mine, so I hope that was okay. And then when you buy the refill, it's only $32. Only $32, but that's getting closer to kind of the more normal price for a high-end blush in my opinion. So I had already done that. This compact has seen 2 inserts of Desired Glow. I really love that color. But last summer it was Precious that was really giving me life. Desired Glow had already gone off. I had gotten good use out of it, but it really smelled like crayons. I think it was like 2 years old, the pan that was in here, but Precious was still good. So I actually shopped my stash for Precious about this time last year. I used it and used it and used it. It was one of my most used products last summer, and I just loved it so much. So I am currently very tempted to replace Desired Glow and Precious in these 2 metal compacts, but it's so much money. Replacing them both would be like $65. I'm not sure I'm here for that. And even replacing one of them, that's still a pretty big bite out of my budget. So I've considered getting the ColourPop blush sticks that seem to be the same color as Desired Glow and Precious. There's one that looks like a dupe for Precious. It's in the color Mercy Me. And there's one that looks like a dupe for Desired Glow. It's in the color Roosevelt. At least they look close enough. So I've considered getting those and saving myself some money. I've considered getting that Kosas duo that everyone seems to be in love with right now, the one in Tropic Hues. They're just all of these cream blushes on my radar right now. And I want them all, but at the same time, I don't want to buy any of them. So I shopped my stash for my 1 cream blush. It is the Glossier Cloud Paint in the color Dusk, and I have already been using it a lot. In fact, it's all over my face right now and all over my eyes right now because this is the look that I've been going for. I've been wanting to look like I was kind of licked by a watercolor painting that then gave me pink eye. And that is what I believe I look like right now, and I'm into it. And I've been creating that look with the Glossier Cloud Paint in Dusk. I've been wanting to create that look with my old Kjaer Weis blushes. I've been wanting to create that look with the ColourPop sticks. I've been wanting to create that look with the Kosas duo. I've been like wishing that I had all of these other cream blushes so that I could do this with them. But I already have this. I'm already able to do it. I'm already able to get the look that I'm craving. And the experience, the tactile experience of applying a cream blush with a brush and buffing it into my skin and buffing it onto my eyes, I'm already doing that. I'm doing it on an almost daily basis with Dusk. So even though the idea of Shop My Stash is usually to dig out something that you've kind of forgotten about, I particularly want to shop my stash for this product because I hadn't forgotten about it, but I've been using it kind of as a sad substitute for the ones that I want. But it's not a sad substitute. It is perfect. It's a really great product. It's a perfect color. It's actually not that different from Desired Glow by Kjaer Weis. And the way that it applies and sort of sinks into the skin is just gorgeous. It's very skin-like, gives a slight glow. It's pretty tenacious on the eyes when I kind of buff it over. It's very buildable. It doesn't pick up on itself when you build. It's an extraordinary cream blush product. It's my favorite product from Glossier that I've ever tried by far. So I'm shopping my stash for it basically to appreciate it. I'm shopping my stash to remind myself that it's already great, that I already have a great thing in that category. And I don't want it to be that if I buy another cream blush, this immediately just gets shunted to the side as if it were useless because it's older. I don't want that to happen. So I'm hoping that even if I do buy one of these cream blushes, I think the most likely thing that I would do would be to buy a fresh pan for Precious. I still want this to be in my Shop My Stash if that happens within the next month, reminding me to keep using it too and to keep appreciating it too, and not to just let the new thing replace it, as so often happens. So the other thing that I have been wanting is a cream highlighter. And I do have some liquid highlighters in like squeezy tubes or in little doe foot applicator tubes. I have a couple bopping around, but I've been wanting a similar thing to this, like a cream highlighter in a pan that is in sort of a clear base so that I can apply it buffed on top of a cream blush, but without disturbing the cream blush and without kind of sticking to it. Like, you know, when you apply a powder highlight over a cream blush, it kind of sticks down and creates a really, really thick, almost paint-like highlight on top of it that gleams and gleams and can be really, really gorgeous, but it also is a pretty palpable layer of product. I've been wanting a cream highlighter that doesn't do that, that will sort of melt into the cream blush and be sheer and add kind of like a glimmering quality, but without changing the color or the finish of the cream blush and without being visibly layered. I want the two to become one. So when I searched for Kjaer Weis to try to find a shop that carries it, other than Kjaer Weis, I mean, I could buy it directly from the Kjaer Weis shop online, but I've kind of been searching around. You know how it goes. So when I searched for it, what comes up are clean beauty shops like the Detox Market, Credo, online shops that carry all green and clean beauty products, because that's kind of the niche into which this falls. So I've just been idly browsing and kind of looking around at other brands of clean beauty, things that I don't look at that often and think about that often. It's actually kind of been fun to think outside the box of, for example, what's carried at Sephora and Ulta. So one of the brands that has come up in my searches is the brand Ritual de Fille, which I talked about last year in a video about things that I wanted. It was some sort of wish list video. I was talking about the eye soot from Ritual de Fille. Ritual de Fille, I think is what it's called, Ritual de Fille. I have kind of gotten sucked back into looking at the products that that brand has released and just being curious about it, because I've never really gone back and investigated it or thought about buying any of the products. So Ritual de Fille has some cream highlighters, a bunch actually, for the cheeks. Most of them are color shifting of one kind or another, and I'm not really interested in purchasing those. I want something in a clear base, like a sheer base that's super, super, super shimmery and wet look. I want to look like I've been licked by a unicorn, or like Teresa is Dead says, what does she say? She says she always wants to look like a greasy alien slut. I'm not sure she uses the word greasy. That might just be my thesaurus mouth talking. Something super, super shiny like a unicorn licked me all over my cheeks and eyes and made me kind of glow and glimmer, but with this kind of sheer, wet, glistening, saliva-like, but unicorn saliva finish. Anyway, Ritual de Fille has this product. It's called the Alchemist, and they're billing it as a highlight for your highlight. And it appears to be really intense, gorgeous shimmer and some glitter in a clear cream base that glows to the gods. I mean, you've never seen anything like the pictures advertising this product. I don't know what it looks like in real life, but I have been completely entranced by the pictures. and I want it, but I'm just sort of in the position where I'm just like wanting it and kind of waiting it out and waiting to see if the intense desire to purchase it goes away, because it almost always does, you guys. It almost always does. If you wait it out, whatever the thing is you want right now, wait 2 weeks, wait 3 weeks, and then you'll be like, why did I ever want to spend $32 on that thing? I'm kind of hoping that that's what will happen with this. And in the meantime, if you are thinking to yourself, Hannah, you already look like you've been licked by a unicorn that turned you into a robot alien slut all over your face and eyes. First of all, thank you. And second of all, it's because I'm wearing my Fenty Beauty How Many Carats Diamond Bomb, because it is really shiny glitter in a clear base. It is like a cream product that can be buffed with a brush on top of a blush without disturbing the color of that blush, and it has that sort of otherworldly finish. Sometimes these lights don't do it justice. That's the thing with glitter. Sometimes it looks the best under low lights, but I can tell you that it's giving me that intense wet look, that kind of clear wet look that I have been craving and that I have been wanting to buy. But I don't need to buy it, I already have it. So I'm shopping my stash for this. Now let's talk about lips, because the third thing that I've been wanting to buy, but that I've been deeming unwise as an investment of any kind, is brown lipstick. I want to buy Charlotte Tilbury's Super 90s, that lipstick, that limited edition lipstick that came out. Charlotte Tilbury Birkin Brown is another one that I've been really wanting. Bobbi Brown Crushed Lip Color in Telluride I've been really wanting to buy. The Bobbi Brown Crushed Lipstick in Satin Nude, which is like a new, slightly more brown nude, I think, a different nude than the lightest one that they previously had that just came out. I've been wanting to buy Charlotte Tilbury Bond Girl, which isn't really brown, but it is kind of like a slightly brownish berry color. I've just been wanting to buy, and I wanted to say I've been craving, but it's more specific than that. I've been wanting to buy, and that's where the problem lies. Like, it's not just like I've been wanting to wear brown nudes. I've been craving brown nudes because I have brown nudes. Sorry, I just banged on the table and maybe shook the camera, but I have brown nudes. That's my point. I've been wanting to buy these other lip products that represent this category that I already have some of. I would say I already have plenty, but it doesn't feel that way to me, because that's what I've been wanting to buy them for. Like, I've been wanting to buy them because I don't feel like I have plenty, right? But I have some. So I shopped my stash for all of them. I just took all of the lip colors that can be considered in any way to be in the same family as those lipsticks that I just listed off, the ones that have been on my wish list that I've been considering buying. And I put them all in this little box, and I put this on my vanity and force myself to use them. It's kind of a situation where it's like, you want brown, Hannah? Well, then wear brown. You want nude? Wear nude. Don't just sit around wanting to buy stuff and continuing to wear lip balm. Wear the colors that you think you want to buy, and then see how you feel after a month. So this one is another limited edition Lancome lip kajal that's in kind of a rosy brown color that's probably like a cross between Bond Girl and Birkin Brown. It's probably quite a lot like those two colors. I just refuse to admit that. I also threw in here this NYX lip combo that I love so much. It's what I have on my lips today, actually, and it is the soft suede, no, it doesn't say soft, it's not soft. I mean, it's not hard, but it's not called soft. It's called the Suede Matte Lip Liner and the Soft Matte Lip Cream. That was where soft was coming from. And they're both in the color London. The lip liner is a tiny bit darker, and the lip cream, the Soft Matte Lip Cream, I find it like a tiny, tiny bit yellower almost. When I wear them together, I really, really love the effect. And I sometimes wear one or the other of them alone. I'm wearing them both today, and I've been wearing them in almost every video lately. Some of you guys have noticed. I love the brown, the yellow brown nude that this combo makes. And it's also very unique. I remember when I purchased these, kind of scouring the Ulta and sort of looking for a color dupe for this because I was really into it, and I was like, wow, I wonder how many lip products there are like this out there. I wonder what my options are. And it was like, these were my only options. I feel like London is kind of a unique shade. So what am I searching for? Like, I already have the thing in my collection that I love so much, the perfect kind of light, interesting nude for me. So what am I searching for? Joe just came home, so you might hear him puttering around in the background, but I am going to keep going full steam ahead. So I also threw my Maybelline Beige Babe matte lip color in here. This is just a gorgeous pale nude on me. It's like my ideal pale matte nude. And I also often use this to lighten up other colors and to kind of get a perfect mix. So it goes well with all of these other ones, and it's also lovely on its own. I just want to remind myself that I have this by shopping my stash for it. I'll show you the color really quickly because, yeah, it's just what you would think. I also put California Love in here, the ColourPop color. This is probably, again, really close in some ways to Charlotte Tilbury Bond Girl, although it doesn't have that berry undertone. It's close in some ways probably to the effects of Telluride, and some ways to the effects of Charlotte Tilbury Birkin Brown. It's just a gorgeous kind of rosy, warm brown. It's the quintessential brown lipstick for me, and I don't know why I'm not remembering that I have it and then going on to want more things like it. Similarly, Nars Het Low. These are pretty much exactly the same color. They're a little bit different, and the formula is definitely different. This is the Nars Satin Lip Pencil, but again, this is like my perfect brown nude lip. I've said that many, many times. So I'm shopping my stash for it. I put both of my Anna Sui lipsticks in here. One is a very, very, very pale, almost concealer lips color that, again, I like to mix with other lippies to get more of a nude color. And then this one is a really, really dark brownish berry. So I don't even need to say it. It bears a lot in common with the thing that I have been craving, the thing I've been wanting. And I frequently forget that I have this because it's too big to store in my little containers on top of my acrylic organizer. So I put it in the little drawer underneath, and I forget that I can use this to get a look very similar to, for example, Bobbi Brown Telluride. So I'm gonna try to make use of this more than I have been in the coming month. And then two more lip liners in this color family. One is Makeup Forever Wherever Walnut. I think that this was a Sephora Point Perk. I love this color, and I really like the formula too for a lip pencil. And then the other is my trusty Givenchy lip liner in number 9 Lip Brown. So that is it. I am shopping my stash for my one cream blush to remind myself that I don't necessarily need to run out and buy a cream blush. I'm shopping my stash for my one cream highlighter in a pan, which is pretty much what this is. Sheer glittery cream highlight in a pan for a wet look, to remind myself that I don't need to rush out and buy a cream highlighter in a pan. And I'm shopping my stash for all of my brown and nude lipsticks and lip products to remind myself that I don't need to rush out and buy a brown and or a nude lip product in the near future. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.